Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the banking industry and its recent trends. We're going to be discussing some of the facts and figures, and starting from the number of banks, their mergers, the growth in deposits, their own stock performance, and finally, the rise of neobanks. So let's dive right in. So it's a crazy thought, but did you know that the number of banks in the US has declined by nearly 25% from 2015 to 2022. That number is from 6,357 to 4,780. Now, this is primarily due to consolidations inside the industry. But what we also see is banks that have deposits between $1 and $50 million have actually increased. And it really shows that this is a difficult environment for smaller banks to stay competitive. So here's some of the biggest mergers in the banking sector in 2021 and 2022. We're talking about PNC Bank and National Bank merging with BBVA USA. So that took them from number 7 and number 34 as far as size of bank to a combined rank of number 6. And then Citizens Bank merged with Investors Bank in April of 2022. Citizens Bank was number 16 and Investors Bank was number 90. And then their combined rank a year later was all the way up at number 16. And these mergers, they're helping banks achieve higher rankings and improve their efficiencies. So you're probably wondering, what are the biggest banks out there? Well, number 1 is JP Morgan Chase Bank. Number 2 is Bank of America. Number 3 is Wells Fargo Bank. Number 4 is Citibank. And number 5 is US Bank. Now here's a crazy thought. JP Morgan and Chase increased their deposits by over $1 trillion from 2015 to 2022. Now, how has the stock been performing on these? Well, the top 5 banks have shown consistent growth from 2015 to 2020, except for the pandemic years. And in line with the global markets, the performance of these banks also saw a dip during the 2020 and 2021 period. However, there's a spike in all stocks in 2022. Now, here's something you may not have heard of. What is a neobank? They're the latest development in the banking industry, and in the last 5 years, from 2017 to 2022, the number of neobank users increased from 5 million to over 41 million, and it's projected to grow by 31% a year, and by 2027, expected to reach over 78 million users. And the transaction value? In 2017, it was $0.1 trillion. But in 2022, we saw that grow exponentially up to over $1 trillion of transactions. And what are some of the advantages of neobanks? Well, you're looking at lower charges because of savings on infrastructure and utility payments, ease of use with quicker processes, highly secure with expenditures on technology and cybersecurity, and lower regulations compared to traditional banks. Now, where are the neobanks at? Well, most of them, as you would expect, are in the United States. But the United Kingdom, Russia, France, and Brazil, they're all not too far behind. Now, what are the top neobanks? Well, number 1 is Chime with over 13.1 million users. And then Current, Aspiration, and Vero. But listen, the banks that have been established for decades, they're not taking this lying down. They're getting up and they are realizing that these neobanks have a competitive advantage, and they are increasingly acquiring these neobanks. And this move is helping them increase their product offerings and transaction volume. And this allowed American Express to leverage the established online infrastructure and extend their existing products to a wider market. So let us know in the comments down below, do you use a neobank? And if so, what's your favorite one? And be sure to come back next week where we're going to be talking about the big pharma industry. You definitely don't want to miss this. Be sure to head to outlier.com, that's OVTLYR.com, to see how Outlier is turning investor behavior into stock market success.